shot! Pushes off to Jones, kicks it out to Aaron Hart, 4 seconds. Oh my goodness! He makes the three!
Are you kidding me, Aaron Martin?
Well, welcome to this special tournament edition of Wildcat Week. I'm Kyle Johnson. The men's basketball team historic season has come to an end. The Wildcats fell to Davenport University in the quarterfinals of the NAIA National Tournament. The Med led most of the game against the Panthers of Davenport. They took the advantage into the half, but a late push by the Panthers gave them the lead, and some free throws down the stretch sealed the victory for the Panthers. Wildcats fell just their third loss all year, 79-75, the final score in this game. Lane McHuron had a team-high 18 points. Bob Peters added to his great tournament performance with 16 points. Senior Zach Vandewater had 12 points on the night. The men finished the year with a program-best record 33-3, and they won both Crossroads League titles to finish the league play at 16-2. And joining me now is head coach Greg Tonigal. Coach, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Long road trip back from Branson, but welcome back to Marion. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. And
let's talk about the tournament as a whole to begin with. What were some of the key takeaways from this tournament?
Shows you how hard it is to win this thing. I mean, there are a lot of great teams out there, a lot of great coaches, and it was just a special time for this group. I mean, to close out your senior year in Branson is where you want to do it. Whether you win or lose it, you've got there. We had a special group.
We're going to take a look at some highlights in just a little bit, but talk about the last game against Davenport. You guys shot like 60% from the floor, which is outstanding, but talk about the performance that Davenport had just to kind of chip away at those leads.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Davenport played outstanding, you know. I mean, we didn't see all their games this year, but we saw a lot, and I thought this had to be one of their best performances, at least shooting the basketball, and they really came up big when they needed it.
You guys defensively were able to shut down some of their key guys, but then other players from Davenport kind of stepped up. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we did a great job on the Burnett kid, who's a Player of the Year candidate, National Player of the Year candidate. But a kid like Nick Gamble stepped up and made a lot of big shots for them. And they had some other guys step up and make big shots. And that's what happens in tournament time. Different guys step up, and it's always somebody else that helps lead the team.
Now, you guys, as we said, shot 60%. A lot of three-pointers in the first half especially. Talk about the shooting that you guys put on in the first half.
Well, you always worry about day three. Can we make shots? Do we have the legs? Well, we certainly had it, and that was very encouraging as a coach that we were able to knock down some shots. You know, Bob goes 4 for 5 and really stretched the defense. Zach made some shots in the first half. Here you see Aaron Murray got in the game and made some plays and finished the ball well.
Talk about Lane inside. 18 points in this game. He had a big night.
Yeah, Lane played well. I mean, Lane was aggressive. Lane got to the rim and made a lot of different things happen. And, I mean, for him and Bob to play so well in the tournament as sophomores, that's very encouraging.
You guys, a couple times in the first half especially, started to pull away a little bit, but then it seemed like Davenport really just came back and hit a couple shots really quickly. How were they able to do that? I mean, because there were times where I thought, okay, here we go. You guys are going to pull away a little bit, but Davenport came back each time.
Yeah, we got up 10, and you know, we gave up a layup here. We gave up a wide open 3. Our defense just wasn't good enough when we had that 10-point lead to stretch it, and that's what we needed, was to be able to push that lead further.
Do you think that the schedule probably played a factor in just the effectiveness of your guys' defense playing that many games in a row?
Well, they were too. So I don't think it was that. We were a little bit up and down defensively this year. And when you get in a tournament and you need a stop, you got to know that you can get one. And too often, we weren't able to do that. Especially transition defense here. I thought we were pretty poor in this game.
Talk about, you guys, a lot of people know this, but some probably don't, about the flu you guys had early on, and a lot of key guys, Johnny, Zach. Johnny had the flu right when we left for Missouri. So talk about that and just the effects physically you guys had to go through to get to this game.
Yeah, we faced a lot, and when Monday when it hit, we talk about being nervous as a coach, but I think we recovered from that. It showed in the first game and the second game. I don't think it showed in this game.
There we see a foul called on Lane, and it's hard for me to watch some of these because, in my opinion, the refereeing wasn't the best at all. But how do you guys mentally kind of overcome maybe some bad calls that were clearly not going your way?
Well, you realize you can't change it. There's nothing you do to change it. And if you dwell on it, all you're doing is taking energy out of the team. And so you got to play on, you got to worry about that next play. And I thought our guys did that. I thought they really played through some of that stuff.
Talk about some of the seniors that you guys are going to graduate. Josiah, DJ, Zach, Tyler. What have they meant to this program?
Yeah, I just love those guys. They're great leaders. They're great people. They've added a ton of culture to this program. And, you know, every year as a coach, this time of year, you wonder how you're going to do it next year, you know, because you lose so much. And somehow the guys kind of come together and different guys step up. And that's part of being a leader. What these young guys have done is, or these seniors have done for these young guys is, here's how you lead. They've taught them a model. And now it's their turn to step up and to replace the seniors.
Talk about the spiritual aspect of this tournament. Obviously, last year there was a big role in your guys' championship run was the team unity on the spiritual level. Talk about that this year. What was it like? I was able to go to some of the devotionals. Just a great time. What does that do for you guys come tournament time?
Well, I mean, we really grew as a team this year, as much or more than any team I've ever had. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it's about, and that's where all this fun and satisfaction really comes from. I mean, winning's great. We're trying to win big, but that's really not going to satisfy at the end of the day. It's seeing lives transformed, and you can go down the roster from 1 through 13 and even more. Go to the coaches, go to the managers, go to the TV crew. I mean, everybody's been transformed in their spiritual growth, and that's what's so exciting, and that's what lasts, and that's what we're going to be talking about, you know, years from now. So I'm proud of this group. I mean, it was a unbelievable year, but even the last 2 weeks of season, once again, I think we caught fire and really grew together as a team.
There's a big and one from Lane. And talk about the sophomore class. We talked about the senior class, but Bob and Lane particularly, Nate Bubash, just really solid performers at such a young age. What are they going to do for you guys next year?
Well, I expect big things from them. You know, they've grown up every year, and it gets harder to take that next step because, you know, the margin is smaller, but I think they can get better and better and better, and we're really going to lean upon them next year.
There's that last shot DJ took to potentially tie it. And what was the atmosphere in the locker room like for you guys after that game?
You know, that's a tough, because there's a lot of hurting, and it should hurt because you pour everything you got into this. And there's disappointment because, you know, we wanted to go further. You always want to go further. But then there's this sense of just love for your teammates that sits in that locker room. And when you love somebody that much and they love you back, you're not disappointed in them. You know, you're not disappointing each other. You're just sad it ended. I mean, we wanted this thing to keep going because we were having so much fun together. I mean, we've become a family, and every year when it ends, you're just like, man, you want it to go on. But we regroup, we bring in new guys. You know, this culture of I am third's bigger than any one personality. So it continues to go, and that's what makes it so exciting and so enjoyable.
Talk about some of the awards you guys got as well. Obviously, both regular season and tournament champions. Best, regular season in school history. You got Coach of the Year, 5th time in 10 years. What's it like just to have those accolades for you guys after such hard work?
Well, basketball's one of those sports. I think too often everything's placed upon the tournament, right? So you could go have a horrible regular season, you get hot in March, and people say you had a great year. But when you really step back and you just take a rational look at it, it's much more than just 1 month. It's the entire season. And I think this entire season was a success for our guys. I mean, these seniors had an incredible year. To win the conference tournament we hadn't done in a while, speaks volumes to what these guys have done. So it's hard to talk about it now, but I'm proud of the year these guys had.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much, and congrats on a great season and a great tournament.
Thanks, Kyle.
When we come back, we'll take one last look at how Lady Wildcats' season ended. Randall King will take us back to Sioux City, Iowa for that. That's next on this tournament edition of Wildcat Week.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Wildcat Week Tournament Edition from the Gateway Arena in Sioux City, Iowa. I'm Randall King. High above a court, the IWU women's basketball team has turned into a second home over the past 13 years, competing for the NAIA Division II National Championship. 13 years is an amazing run, and of course they've brought home the big prize twice. But they won't be staying here long enough to pick up a new banner this year. In fact, the Lady Wildcats are going home after running into a tough opponent in the first round, Ashford University of Iowa. The Saints from Ashford came out hot, shooting over 50% from the field in the first half and keeping the Wildcats off the board for the first 4 minutes of the game. Before you knew it, the Wildcats were down nearly 20 points on a night when they couldn't get their own shots to even drop. They battled back in some in the second half, but it was never enough. And your final score was Ashford 66, Indiana Wesleyan 50. This was the toughest kind of loss because it means the season is over, and for some seniors who have tasted a national championship before, it's the end of their IWU careers. Peter Mercer has a breakdown of their final frustrating game when nothing seemed to go right.
The Lady Wildcats are ready for round one with tournament experience as they played a team that's only made the trip to Sioux City twice. The team struggled early and had trouble rebounding against a tough Ashford University team who had 42 rebounds on the game.
Here's a long one by Winter. It's in and out. Won't go. And the rebound to Ashford. Isham whips it out front. Here's the three from Stahl. In and out. Would not go.
Players who normally put up big numbers found themselves ice cold as the Wildcats just couldn't find the basket in the first half.
Left it short and the rebound to Ashford. To Sahaski. Sahaski, double team, triple team. Puts up the jumper. Can't get it to go. Rebound Ashford.
Not even halfway through the first half, Ashford led Indiana Wesleyan by 22 points and proved to be a tougher opponent than expected.
You know, they just kind of took it right at us and got us back on our heels, and we didn't really respond as positively as we needed to. We couldn't get a big stop, we couldn't make a basket, and we buried ourselves in like a 24-2 hole to start the game.
But the Lady Wildcats came out of the locker room with determination in their faces, hoping for a stronger performance, and they began the second half on a 12-0 run.
Quick inbounds, drive to the hole, and a missed layup inside, and the rebound comes off to Katrina Blackman. Almost an uncontested layup and just blew it. Stahl gives it to Blackman. Blackman will look inside. Blackman looks to drive, takes it to the hole, the runner, good! Count it, and put her at the line!
Erica Isham nearly tripled her points from the first half and was the leading scorer for the Wildcats. But the dominating first half from the Saints was just too great to overcome, and the Wildcats couldn't find their rhythm.
Stahl takes it to the hole, puts up the runner, didn't go, ball batted away.
The loss cut the career of the senior Wildcats shorter than expected, but the memories they made will stay with them.
You know, you go through ups and downs, and you have to fight your way through hard times, and you have people that are sticking with you through the good times. So it's really taught me a lot of life lessons that I hope to take with me as I, finish out my time at Indiana Wesleyan.
After a little break, the Wildcats will jump right back on the court and start preparing for another championship run in Sioux City. They've been here before, and they will be back. For Wildcat Week, I'm Peter Mercer.
Well, we're back with head coach Steve Brooks. And Coach, you don't ever like to go home after this thing, and you've done it before. You're not going to win it every year. You really don't like to go home in game one.
No, not at all. We've only had this experience one other time back in 2009, and I thought that team really overachieved just to get here. So this is really disappointing the way we came out and played today.
Just before we get into the highlights, was this a case of just a team maybe that was a little underrated coming in, and was there any surprises in what they came out and did?
No, I think it had more to do with us, and I have to take responsibility for it because I'm the coach. I don't think I got us ready to go. I think maybe we peaked a little earlier than we should have. You look at our last two games, and we were not playing our best basketball. And in past years, at the end of the year, we've been playing some pretty good basketball, and that was not the case this year.
When you look at them, they won the last 5, including their conference tournament. Right. Momentum.
Yeah, they had momentum coming in, and they play incredibly hard. They're very physical for their size, very well coached. They were prepared, and we just didn't respond. We missed some shots early, and we couldn't stop them, and we buried ourselves in a 24-2 hole. And I was proud of our kids that they didn't quit.
Well, let's take a look at those highlights as we get into the first half, and look at what they did when they came out. Before you know it, 18-point hole. What was going on here?
Well, the first possession there, we gave up a 3 to a kid that we told him we didn't want to leave, and we left him, and that hurt us. And then we missed shots, couldn't rebound the ball.
I had to say, is this the Huntington game again? Every game's different.
That's what it seemed like. There we're taken, and I thought that was we close out short. We don't get a hand up on the shooter.
there we let them drive right through us, no gap help. There wasn't a whole lot we can look at that we could say, oh yeah, we did that well. Erica fumbles the pass and then doesn't finish the layup.
This is down at your court, and you'd already made some changes in the lineup at that
and then
point.
We shoot an air ball here, I think, and we just didn't have it today.
Here's a rare fast break opportunity, and that turned around for points. But boy, I remember at one point I wrote down it was like 4 minutes before you scored in the first half, and then before you knew it, it was about 18-point gap.
Yes, we were down 19 at half. I thought our kids did a good job fighting back.
Here's Katrina, and that's one of her buckets there, fighting through it. But what did they do to Katrina to kind of shut down her game tonight?
Well, they packed the lane. They were not guarding certain individuals, and they packed the lane.
And then they're coming back. I know that their stats in the first half were something like 52% from the field, but it looked worse than that in the first 10 minutes.
Right. Well, we didn't finish plays, and they did. They shot 56%, 50 from the three-point line, because again, we closed out short, gave them a wide open look, they knocked it down.
And this is still in the first half here. There's another turnover.
Yeah.
And they turn around with the layup.
Which we only had 10 turnovers, but the turnovers we had hurt us because they cost us, they went down and scored. So, there wasn't a lot of highlights for us in the first half for sure. Second half.
Ticking down to the last minutes of the first half. And, here they turn it around again. I remember they had some shots with almost nothing on the shot clock, and those dropped too.
Yes. Well, they banked the 1-3.
Yeah, I remember that one too. We're still down in the first half here. Switch to the second half. What were your keys? Because now we're in the second half. Because clearly you came out with some fire.
Well, I just tried to encourage the kids at the halftime that, we're not out of this. We've got to chip away. And we wanted to push the pace a little bit if we could. But we really needed to do a better job being in our gaps defensively and, playing the game the way we play.
There's Katrina with a rare bucket and the foul. And Erica Isham got you some points in the second half and did some things you needed down underneath.
We played better defensively. There again, we're not in the stance. Carly gets beat off the dribble and that kind of stuff. There's a really nice pass against the zone.
You didn't see Katrina in space like that a lot, with opportunity.
They had 2 and 3 people guarding her, so.
Well, I do like the heart that they showed in the second half again, but the 3 ball was not dropping. Was that Carly there? I'm not sure it was dropping for her at all.
She had a hard day.
And then you come back.
And then we don't go out again, and we give up a 3.
Yeah, it did seem like halfway through that second half you had something. I think you cut it to maybe 8, maybe even 7, but well, you got to give them some credit for some heart there. There's Katrina from the field.
You just missed it. It was a good shot. It was a wide open look.
That was a rare inbounds play that went your way.
Yeah. See, there again, we're standing and reaching in our help instead of getting over to help, and then we foul.
How important was the foul trouble?
Well, it definitely, it didn't help us, but, we can't say that's what hurt us. We didn't defend the way we're capable of, and we missed shots.
Yeah, this is I don't know if this is fouling. This is where Katrina fouls out.
Yes.
I don't know if there was any question of how much space she had in the game. About 2.5 to go, if that would have made a difference. But what a physical game on her they played.
Yeah, they did, and it was hard. But when you come out here, that's the way it is. And we told the kids, expect contact and expect no call. I don't think, for us to get where we want to go, our younger kids are going to have to get a whole lot tougher, mentally and physically. We got to get tougher, and that was an issue for us all year, and it really showed up today.
You only had a few seniors. I saw what they looked like. We heard a little bit from them earlier in the game highlights, but boy, just guys tears it out of them. 2 years ago, they're on this court as sophomores, and now to end like this. What did you say to them?
I told them to keep their head up. It's really hard to watch kids that you care about go through this kind of a struggle, but I'm really proud of our seniors. I think they did a really good job leading this team, and we got out here, which is the goal. We wanted to stay longer. We wanted to play more. It wasn't our year for that. But I am proud of our seniors because I think they were good leaders. They worked really hard. They gave us a chance to win a conference championship.
It was an incredible regular season, and we can't take that away as much as this stings. Even if the conference tournament didn't pay off, to win some of those games in the Crossroads League that you won this year, that was against some quality teams.
Yes, it was, and that's the thing that kind of has me confused is, like, why did we play so well at Marianne, who's a quality opponent, in a really hostile environment, and then come out and play the way we did against Huntington, and then today, it's just really hard.
Last 15, 20 seconds. How are you going to take away from this season for this team?
Well, I'm proud of them. They worked really hard. I think that, they kept the streak alive. Not that that matters, but I know it matters to them. And I'm really proud of our seniors.
And we should say it again, 13 straight years in Sioux City. And now we reload and talk about number 14.
Well, we're going to try.
Thank you, Coach Brooks.
Welcome back to Wildcat Week for this tournament edition. The men's basketball season is over, but Saturday I had a chance to ride along with Jacob Quick and some of the basketball managers of the basketball team. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at a day in the life of an IWU basketball manager.
What you see on game day doesn't just happen. Of course, the players and coaches prepare, but who prepares everything else? Welcome to the life of an IWU manager. We rode along with Jacob Quick and Devin Gray on game day.
Chicken sandwiches here.
Our first stop was Chick-fil-A.
This is going to be fun.
The order?
I'm going to actually bump the number up to 40 because
Jacob Quick leads the way for the basketball team's managers. In case you were wondering, there are 4 in total. They are the glue that holds the men's basketball team together.
I was coming to meet you at the gym, so I'm going to try to bust it back around to catch up to you guys and get the sandwiches to you once you get to the gym. All right, so we just missed the bus going to walk through. We're gonna try to go back to College of the Ozarks and get the sandwiches to the guys. So we're gonna turn around, go back and try to beat the bus to Branson High School in order to have the sandwiches ready for the guys to eat before we do walkthrough.
According to Quick, miscommunication like this happens often. The responsibility is unseen, but it's enormous.
So you're entrusted with a lot of things that most people don't realize you're entrusted to. Just a lot of things that a full-time position would typically do that's been entrusted to me as an undergrad, which has been a really amazing experience. And that's 3 hours before the game. If it's not at a regular
Quick says it's his job to ultimately be a mind reader.
And so especially out here in Branson, you got to figure out what that's going to be, what type of food coach wants. At this point, he kind of leaves it up to me, knowing that I know what kind of food he wants the guys to have.
Quick and Devin Gray are seniors, and they've been doing this all 4 years.
It's been great. Great experience all around. I mean, I owe a lot of it to the coaches and their mentorship, and we've also had a lot of great guys come through the program. We just went to Walmart and picked up all the groceries we needed for our pregame meal and also some stuff we get at the game. It was great because Subway was right there too, so we got the subs for all the players. They usually eat 3 hours before tip-off. After the game, we have chocolate milk and protein bars for them for recovery. So that concludes the pregame setup on this manager special.
So much of what we witness on the court is thanks to these guys. They don't get the credit, but that's just the way they like it.
Well, those guys certainly work very hard to get those things done. And that's all we have for you this week. If you have any comments or suggestions about the show, we'd like to hear from you. You can write the station at WIWU-TV, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953. Or you can visit our website, WIWUTV.com, to see past episodes and be able to connect with us online. That's WIWUTV.com. We look forward to being back with you next week. For all of us here, I'm Kyle Johnson. Thanks for watching.